Ana Paula, Arthur, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. It's really a privilege. So you have, Ana Paula, you have quite a few years experience in IP in Brazil. How is the current COVID-19 situation impacting the legal sector in general, and which are the major changes you've seen in the last few months?
Well, nowadays I live in São Paulo, and Brazil is a huge country. So the impact in legal sector in general that I could observe here was a renegotiation of rent contracts, mainly in commercial area. Also, a strong impact in labor relationships, and the deadlines have been suspended in all courts of justice, and also in our IP office. We have a huge backlog in our IP office, and consequently, I'm positive that is good. It's a good moment to reduce the backlog. In addition to that, we had a data protection law that could take effect this year, and however it was postponed to 2021. And I added to that, there is a bill of law in Brazil, in Brazilian Congress, that pretends to adapt some rules in commercial law during the COVID-19 situation. Especially entertainment audiovisual industry in Brazil, we could see more homemade production, not only music lives, but also advertising production.
Ana Paula, have you seen in the Brazilian office, from what I understand, there has been a backlog in the past for some of the patents and trademarks taking up to 5 years or more. Do you think that the Brazilian offices are now going to speed things up after the crisis?
Yes, because I think in this moment with the postponed of deadlines, some law offices are not working so much. That's why I can say that could be good for backlog reduce.
From what I understand, there are many outside corporations that have protected their rights in Brazil with their patents. Have you seen, because there is such a backlog in the patents in the Brazilian patent offices, have you seen less corporations protecting their rights in Brazil because of the situation?
Yes, I think there is an impact. I think it's a good time to feel, because we have how can I say, Arthur, to home office, to the people who works in our IP office, they have a bonus to work when you work at home, you have to work more. So now all the people are at home. So I think it's more productive to IP office, because some people work at the building, but a few work at home.
Arthur, this past year you have been working in IP in the United States, based in California. Can you share your view about what's going on during this time?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having us here. It's in the U.S., pretty much of what Ana Paula was sharing, it happens here as well. So in the field of real estate, especially here in California, people cannot be evicted, for instance, because there's been such a instance where people are losing their jobs now in LA, where I am right now. more than 35 people they have lost their jobs in this crisis. So it's a delicate situation. So the government has protected those people, and now they cannot be evicted. In terms of the entertainment industry where I'm working right now, there's the huge issue because of course all the productions are on halt, like in a big halt right now, and that applies to all the areas in the industry. That being said, there are some other countries that are starting to reopen. So since a lot of studios are really hungry for content right now, there might, in those countries like Australia, Greece, New Zealand, some productions can start to be they're gonna start to shoot productions in those places before some other places like the U.S., especially in California, New York. And when you talk about music, there's potentially also the same thing happening. So you have spots where COVID is less there's less impact of COVID, so the productions can happen in a faster degree than the other places where the COVID has more impact nowadays.
Right. You're primarily protecting entertainers and the entertainment industry from their intellectual property, their content. So number one is they can't produce as much. So have you seen them maybe being a little bit more creative during this time, a little bit more thoughtful?
Yeah. I think in human history, it's interesting to see how and whenever there's some big crisis, human creativity comes into place, and there's kind of an explosion of creativity. So right now, I think it's pretty much the same. The homemade production definitely is taking another level of importance right now, but productions like those big ones where you need to mobilize a lot of people, there's a lot of assets being targeted. That's difficult right now. But homemade productions and lives on Instagram, for instance, where Ana Paula can even talk a bit more about that as well, because she understands a lot about the copyright impacts on lives. In those cases, the homemade productions have been really important right now.
So Ana Paula, as an IP consultant at Martins Vieira Advocados, you work mainly on entertainment and media, TV and esports specifically. How is this current situation impacting this line of work in particular?
My clients are very afraid about the future, not only in entertainment, but also in franchising too. Then they decided to suspend some projects, and this affects my work. As illustration, our major Brazilian company in TV business, Global TV, suspended all soap opera production and reworn of popular soap opera. On other hand, I've been teaching a lot about IP and copyright online courses, and about lives too, like Arthur told about. And another important point that I could highlight is that the Beijing trade takes effect well-timed when we have more online consume of entertainment.
So Arthur, you work as a legal advisor on media, entertainment, and technology at mattenlaw. What can you tell us regarding the impact of the current situation on your job, and is it any different than what Ana Paula is experiencing in Brazil?
Sure. Well, so we bring a lot of artists to the U.S. and now it's just impossible for them to come right now. So I can tell for on behalf of my firm and also firms of friends who work in the same area. Here in LA, for example, the mayor has said that concerts can only be held in 2021. So this is a major thing for a city like Los Angeles that has basically, it's the main route of live music in the planet. And it's pretty much what Ana Paula was describing as well. But what we've been seeing right now is people. I think there's on this crisis there are a couple of phases, and in the first phase was people were not accepting what was happening, like didn't measure exactly how they should respond. That was the first phase. The second phase now is people acknowledging that it's such a huge situation and kind of trying to understand what's happening. Right now, I think we're, in terms of the industry, we're in the third phase. We're trying to predict what's next. And for this time of predicting what's next, I think it's pretty much what I was telling before of like, how can we move forward in the situation? How can we build environments that we can produce content without spreading the virus? So can we do it even in places like California or New York, or places where the virus is really strong present, or should we just focus on other countries, places where the virus does not have that much impact? So I think right now there's been discussions to understand what's next.
You're dealing with both live music and television productions. How would you say to the regular consumer who does spend a lot of time in front of, the television using entertainment, what should they expect moving forward in your point of view?
Right. That's a great question. But right now, I mean, there's still a lot of content out there. So there are some companies, I forgot exactly which one that I read these days, where they were saying that they, I think it was Hulu, that they had content until the end of the year. And from that moment on, they needed to shoot new content. So, but again, I think until that point, some changes are already being made. So the homemade content it's really strong right now. So in Brazil, for example, we have a huge comedy channel owned by Viacom called Porta dos Fundos, and they're completely adapted to the situation right now. So all the actors in this YouTube channel are shooting videos in their own house. So what they did basically is YouTube send them equipment, like they have all the same equipment, and they can shoot videos, and the channel is up and running, like if nothing was happening. But of course they do it at home. So I guess the consumer can expect that. So until we have a vaccine, until we don't have a vaccine, it's gonna be that way. So productions that were already in place or already finished, and homemade productions.
So are you saying the consumer will probably be looking towards worse content, or would you say that Hollywood is going to catch up and create precautions that the actors and actresses will be able to, and the production team will be able to stay safe while creating excellent content?
Well, I think it's too early to say, but I would say that it's going to be a bit of both. So homemade productions for sure. As I'm not sure if you watched, but that Netflix show Tiger King, where now it's hugely popular in the U.S. So they shot the whole production, and it was finished. It was released, and then the pandemic came. But then they did like one extra episode where they had interviews with the characters, with the people from the show, and the interviewer was asking the interviewees from home. So so I guess we can expect that type of situation, but at the same time, some mapping from the big studios of places where actual high quality content can be shot right now or in the near future.
The next Oscar awards will accept internet movies, movies that release in internet in the first time in history of these awards.
So you both recently completed a postgraduate course, and Paula. You
It's
graduated
good.
in IP, Entertainment Law and Media at the Brazilian Bar Association Superior School of Law in Sao Paulo. And Arthur, you completed the Master of Laws in the University of California. Which are the challenges and opportunities the current COVID-19 situation presents to young professionals in IP in terms of skills? And Arthur, any examples you can share with us?
Well, I think for an IP professional right now, it doesn't change much. I think the challenges are more in the industry rather than in skills themselves. So I think the skills were when you want to work with IP, with entertainment, you need to have a good understanding not only of the law but also about the business. So that I think does not change. What changes is just an extra challenge of finding a job or trying to navigate and to put your feet in the door for the industry. So I guess that's pretty much what I would say in terms of what's harder right now. The skills are the same, but putting yourself in the market, it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm. It's good to know about YouTube terms because we have a lot of lives there and we have some problems with music live, so understand the YouTube terms a good advice that I could share.
Would you
Mm-hmm.
say that there is going to be, because the entire entertainment industry is right now in a sort of unknown zone, would you say that moving forward there may be new forms of entertainment that are going to be coming to the market, and there are going to be collaboration between different technologies to support the entertainment industry to create something fabulous?
Right. Yeah, I mean that's a $1 million question, but when it comes to music, for example, it's I think it's a pretty interesting moment. So Super M, which is nowadays probably the biggest K-pop band, they did a paid live stream on their Instagram or some other platform where they charged a couple. I don't know, maybe $10 or $20 or something for people to watch, and the number was absurd. So basically, what they did in this concert that they sold to their fans all around the world, they got more money than what they got when they came to Los Angeles to the Forum, which is one of the main venues in town. So that shows us something. So if the artists know how to engage their fan base and learn how to explore new formats such as live streams or targeted content or something of that nature, that can be hugely valuable from now on, for like in the music industry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I saw a movement of artists to take their own platform and not only depends of YouTube or Instagram to do lives. I think it's a good moment to do that.
I'm thinking of something more fabulous, like a whole new entertainment platform, like something new and incredible that isn't on the market. Is there anything that you can share on that? Is there anything that, like you're hiding under your sleeves?
I mean, the newest invention, I would say, put it that way, it didn't come because of COVID, but it was there already, and now it's getting bigger and bigger. It's called Quibi, and it's a platform for you to watch on your phone, small, like short videos. And I think they actually came in really good timing, and of course they didn't know that, but because of COVID, that type of content that can be that it's not really difficult to make, like short videos or something you can watch. That's going to be a huge asset. That's the first thing. The second thing, which I think it's coming to disrupt the market. It's actually, in fact, it's already disrupting the market. Is TikTok. So TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company, and now they have millions and millions and millions of users, and they're coming to the industry here. And what they're doing, they're hiring new professionals from other companies, like seasoned professionals from Disney, Warner, all those big studios. Now they have so much power, and they came really to disrupt the industry, that they're hiring people from all these other studios to kind of create this new fabulous invention of entertainment, which is TikTok.
So we're excited. So Ana Paula, what would you say to the entertainment industry in Brazil? What should they be expecting in the future after COVID-19? Would you say that it looks positive, like it looks like there may be some changes and things could move up and there is a light at the end of the tunnel? Or do you see it more as this could be a very bad situation?
I think we'll have adaptation of the consumer of entertainment, but I don't know if it's a good scenario or a bad scenario. We only could see in long term, I think.
Arthur, what would you say, coming out of California, what would you say to the entertainment industry? How would you say they would come out of this after COVID-19?
I guess it's a bit of what we've been discussing, of what happens in human nature right now. Just people like, it's so interesting to see that in this moments of despair, these moments of anxiety and depression, or whatever you want to call it, people turn themselves to art. And that's something that people need to learn how to appreciate. We need to learn how to appreciate in Brazil, need to learn how to appreciate in the US and the whole planet, and give the real importance to art, that the importance that it deserves. So I think that is the real movement. So hopefully, actually, I cannot predict that, but hopefully people appreciate more the space of that art has in humanity, and of course entertainment and intellectual property and so forth, and that can lead to more people engaging, more people becoming artists, more people wanting to express themselves and coming out of the situation with a bright future.